Hello, viewers, and welcome back to the Black Wire Podcast. This is episode 5, and today's topic is going to be on cyberdecks. Today, we have for your viewing pleasure, we have ValleyTech Solutions. Talking Sasquach, welcome to the podcast. We have Dakka, and we have AK Rex. Welcome to the podcast.
Nice to be here.
Rex, would you mind introducing yourself to folks in the community who are unfamiliar with who you are?
My name's Rex. I go by AK Rex online. I maintain the fork of the Linux kernel for the Clockwork Pi CM products, the CM3, 4, and 5, and then also the RATSA CM5 for the uConsole and DevTerm. Also make images, mostly Debian-based images. That's just what I'm used to. I've been using Debian for over 20 years now. So,
I've been using your image since since it first came out. Upon the CM5's release, I could not tell you how excited I was. I bought 32 gig eMMC, 4 gigs of RAM, was super excited about it, pre-ordered the 16 gigs CM5 Lite from Mauser the moment it dropped, and there was no image, and yours came up, and I have been using it ever since. I think I build at least 3 cyberdecks every single day. Variety differ. I work with Carbon computers, and you are a legend, man. Because without you, I don't think that the Hacker Gadgets boards would work if it wasn't for you maintaining that image.
no, we took quite a bit of time going over everything on the V1, the AIO, and all the software and everything worked out. And I was doing the images for about 8 months before the CM5 came around, and that was quite a bit of work to get the video driver, the panel driver, to work correctly with it. The way the CM5 works in the new RP1 chip, I had to rechange the way it looked at the timing and everything. And so it was a while that I only had half the panel working, like half the image would work, and then the cut up and be all funky on the bottom right corner, and it was quite a bit of work.
You started implementing SDR++ in the actual image pre-installed.
No, it's still just a package, but I have it pre-compiled for the device. I've moved on to SDR++ Brown.
Yeah, I actually got that packet from you in the Discord because I was having troubles getting SDR++ working on the kind of hybrid build that I was working on. And yeah, it's just super, super helpful. And having all that stuff already pre-set up. So, the amount of time that you spent on that, anybody who has installed those packages before, like, they know that there's a lot of work involved in those. So the uConsole itself as a device definitely owes a lot of its popularity to how accessible you made it. Because otherwise it'd be people being like, I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't get this to work, couldn't get that to work. So that's been fantastic.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's a big thing of why I do it. If I want to make things easier for other people. So if I have to do it, and if I've already done it and I can package it up and throw it up on a repo, I'll go ahead and do that. If you still want to do it or learn, you can always do it yourself. Like my Debian, the Debian proper images, I use PyGen, and I've already gone through all the scripts and added the stuff to use my kernel and all the rotation stuff for the panel, and the batteries and all that. I have it up on my GitHub. You can build the image if you want. I still provide the images just so you can download and flash.
Yeah,
and it makes it so easy.
Yeah.
So which compiled image, like which version are you most proud of, I guess?
Just the regular full Trixie image, because all the other ones, Twister, Dragon, I don't build those images. I just download their image, And then I root into it, install my kernel, fix any rotation problems, and all that, and then just recompress the image and upload it.
Very cool. Yeah, because I'm working off of your Trixie image, and that's what I was building for the CM5 build. I ran Dragon on the CM4, but yeah, it just runs. It runs so well. It's amazing how well that device runs. Throw a little thermal pad and maybe an M4 heatsink on the back just to make sure you have some thermal. But yeah, no, it works great. I love that thing.
Well, a lot of it's Raspberry Pi because that is their image at the core. I've just made little tweaks to help it run better on the thing, but with their desktop environment and stuff, they put a lot of work into really making it run efficient on, silicon here.
It is truly amazing that you've gotten it going on the Radza image. I want to say in September, I reached out to Radza in hopes that they would let me do a video on a Radza U console image when you had just dropped it. And it had it was still a work in progress, and as of recently, especially with Valier's hardware and some of the updates that's been going on, I'm actually getting ready to fire up a full U console Radza CM5 device, a cyberdeck. I'm really excited for that. I have not looked at the compatibilities with the SDR mods or the all-in-ones that he has. Are they compatible?
The V2 should just work. V1 won't unless you put some Kapton tape or something over the GPS pins. The V1,
really?
the U-boot that they use as a bootloader for the Ratsa interferes when you have the GPS, when it can enable the GPS, and it'll just hard lock the system.
I didn't even know. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah. But if you got the V2 board, that'll fire right up.
And they actually just came in. They just came in.
And with the new Wi-Fi card of his, you just have to just compile up the drivers real quick, and it works fine.
Actually surprised that Radza went with no onboard Wi-Fi or Bluetooth on their compute module. It's loaded, don't get me wrong, it's definitely capable, but I think your image in particular might be the single best thing for it. You don't really hear of people using Radza CM5s in the community a lot. And the all-in-one board for it, the only thing that's really there to help you is that the M.2 slot for the the A key for the Wi-Fi card.
Yeah, like the big problem with theirs is the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and then not putting PWM audio on the same pins as Pi's do. Because we don't have no audio with the Ratsa on the U console.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that because they designate a lot of their, audio and all the extra peripherals on the front row of pins, that third row?
Yeah, there's just the same pins that carry PWM audio on Pi 4 and 5. It's just on-off GPIO on the Ratsa, those pins. So we missed out on audio there, but...
Couldn't Valier fix that with the adapter board for the Radza CM5? I know that they're cross-compatible, but couldn't he add that extra row of pins and route it to the speakers?
He could. Yeah. Anything's possible.
Yeah, I mean that.
Symbiote, this YouTuber Symbiote just used a DAC internal on the AIO V1, and then just connected the speakers to the DAC, so we still had audio.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he's the one that likes to do all the clear cases and stuff.
I know who you're talking about. He's done a couple of mods on the U console. He's done a couple of mods. I know exactly who you're talking about. That dude's cool, man. The first video I ever saw on the U console following along was actually Jeremiah of all trades. His video, and then he popped up on my feed, and I was like, I didn't realize that that's who he was until one time around Christmas. He reached out to me, and I clicked his channel, and I was like, dude, this is the guy. What? I've been watching this guy's video for forever.
I had the same experience with Jeremiah too, because I think I might have been watching the same uConsole video, and he had some long form video tutorial, and then he reached out to me and said something. I was like, oh wait, that's you. Oh, what's up, man?
Rex, so like here's my question. One of the funniest things I've seen in your thread for your image are the guys that flash your images and then complain the touchscreen doesn't work.
Oh yeah.
Sure doesn't.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't. It does look like it should have a touchscreen.
100%. 100%. But I'm talking about the amount of emails I've gotten, and when I clicked your thread and I saw that you were having the same issues, I was like, oh, it's not just me.
So I don't know if you've seen it, the trackpad keyboard.
No.
Touchpad. All right, so the same guy that makes this new keyboard is working on a touchscreen. It's 1080p.
That's very cool. Yeah, because I mean, I've got a bag of the trackballs that I've gotten from numerous different places and vendors, all of which people are like, oh, try this one. And some of them are better than others, but none of them are like perfect. So I do have the first uConsole that I got, which I actually got from a community member. I don't know if he modded it or not. That trackball is money. I don't know what he did to it, but that one's money. But everything I can get now, they're all just like a solid 4.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I've had 2 real excellent ones out of like 15 that I've bought.
Yeah, yep.
And like it's only like from one kind. Like I've bought in different color ones. I've bought in red balls, yellow balls, and stuff from different Blackberries, hoping to find something cool besides the black one, but only the black ball. And it was the certain kind of housing was the only 2 that ever worked good.
But when it works good, you're like, oh my god, this is what it's supposed to be like the entire time. And then when it doesn't, you're like, I gotta press it down maybe a little bit, or like maybe if I move it a bunch real quick. And it's people make up like all these harebrained schemes, or like there's so many myths and lore about how to get the trackball working better. It's been pretty funny.
One of the biggest improvements is installing the QMK firmware.
Yeah, I think I remember probably you saying talking about that.
Necessary thing to get the keyboard and trackball actually working good, because it'll stop the repeating keys. For the keyboard.
Yeah, because I'm repeating spacebar occasionally, I think.
Yeah, have you upgraded the firmware yet to the QMK?
No, I got to do that.
I have not experienced that problem at all. Not one time. And I've heard people complain about this issue.
Yeah, it happened to me. And then once they came, I think his name's Ollie, came out with that firmware, it fixed it right up. Now I don't have the stock keyboard because that the trackpad mod comes with an entirely new PCB.
Definitely worth looking into, because I'm very interested in that. And the other thing I wanted to do too is in like what you do is pull my own image, because I have repeatedly killed SD cards, specifically on the uConsole, trying to do things that I thought were clever, like, oh, I'm gonna burn an image of this right now, and in the process of that, it would fill the SD card, and then it just would never boot again. Once it was like you fill the SD card and it's just done.
I have not experienced that at all.
I've killed quite a few SD cards over the last 2 years working with the uConsole, flashing and reflashing, trying to get things perfect.
Yeah, and I don't know, like I was talking to Rabbit from Rabbit Labs, and I was like, how do I fix like a dead SD card? He's like, there's some really low level stuff you can do, but just buy a new one. Just get it over with.
So cheap nowadays.
Yeah.
Hey, I feel like with Valier's M.2 battery pack, it boots incredibly fast. SD cards, at the end of the day, I feel like it's inevitable for all of them to fail. Just the amount of write,
They're
rewrite.
disposable.
And that's why I get disheartened when I see people really dedicating large amounts of, like just gigantic SD cards, 1 terabyte, 500 gigabyte. You don't need that much. Like, think about it. When it comes to a portable cyberdeck, you're usually going for, something discrete, something that will just work, and then you could save files to. 64 gigs to 128 is more than fine, and especially in the shortage that we're dealing with, it is insane.
Oh, wanted to buy another hard drive for my computer because I'm running out of space except for my NAS and editing stuff. So I was looking at just 2.5 SSDs this morning, and they're still outrageously expensive. So yeah, that stuff's crazy now.
And
even the spinning rust is. I need to get another disk for my NAS, and I'm gonna have to hold off on downloading stuff for a minute.
Yeah, because I was talking to somebody. They're like, "Oh yeah, I bought like this drive, and it was like $200." And I was like, "Look at it again, $400 for the same drive." And I think it was just like a 10 or 12 gig or 10 or 12 terabyte NAS drive. Crazy.
And there's a limit.
Yeah,
and there's a limit now. Like especially with more the problems Mike's been dealing with, is he'll need to get like a 5-pack or a 10-pack, and Amazon will be like, "Yeah, you're good for the next 2 days. Try again later," and it's irritating. Rex, if you don't mind me asking, man, seeing as how your image is what's used for SDR enthusiasts and people who really like, well, it's become more than that as of recently. Are you a ham radio guy yourself?
No, I'm not. I did communications in the military though.
That tracks.
Yeah, I did AXAT and all the different commo stuff, and also did a lot of jamming. I was an electronic warfare officer when I was in.
The military goes hard.
Yeah.
Man. Okay, that's okay. Now that tracks, man. I was just curious. Believe it or not, you have he's a dear friend of mine, and he's also a member of the BWM. You've probably seen his name. His name is Loco SP. Loco developed his website, which is now gaining a whole lot of traction thanks to members of the community. Is because of because of the U console and because of your image. He made it for the U console. If you go on WDG, it tracks Mesh Core, Meshtastic, ADSB, and it's made for the Valiers all-in-one V1 and V2 in particular.
Yeah, I still gotta set it all up and check it out.
You can join us, right?
Yeah, that's the plan.
it's a great project. It's really cool. It's something I've been wanting to kind of mess around with more. One of my challenges is that like it totally doxes me because I'm in kind of a dark zone. So I'm like a little hesitant into jumping in too much, but I love the idea. And it's actually funny watching Just Call Me Coco, because you can see like he goes on trips and he's just like streaking across the country. I'm assuming mostly it's him. I don't know if he's got like
it is him. It's him
with his cluster. So like it's wild seeing him. Like he's almost driven past my house before. It's crazy.
That's why I wanted to get into it. I spend half my time in Florida and half my time in Georgia. So I'm driving back twice a week.
Hey, Rex, say no more. I welcome to the war, brother. Coco really has, he's been going on drives recently. That entire Texas trip he went, like, and I'm looking at it, and I got mad yesterday, and I called him, and said some words, and then drove to Tyson's just to take it back from him. I was like, no, this is mine. Yeah, believe it or not, so Loco put a a time limit. He didn't want people uploading old war drive logs like from the past 7 months ago, to now. So he set a limit, and when he set that limit, he did it to like 2-3 months ago. So it wiped all of Coco's war drives straight off the map. And I felt bad, so I had to like message him. I was like, "Yeah, that's a real drive." He just did that, so like within like a few hours, it was back up. But you had a couple people. His bot now is actually doing a good job. You had people who were trying to cheat, for lack of better words, to keep it blunt, and they were like putting out fake APs and fake, like, just a straight line through nothing, just a field. And somebody was actually trolling me, and they were taking it over back and back. And then he set up that bot, and it banned everybody. And then it shadow banned a couple people, gave them a warning, and then as of when somebody went to try to do it again, it just flat out banned them. And as of recently, I guess you have a lot of sad hams in the wiggle.net community who have seen like the Biscuits and WDG and a couple of other, like, oh, they're cheating. This is a bunch of slop code. What are they called? Phone elitists. Which, man, I test different war drivers within the community, test out different products, try to compare and contrast across devices, and that's I spend like a majority of my time when I'm not building stuff and not like actually working. The top five, believe it or not, this is gonna make a lot of people kind of disheartened hearing this, is the Pineapple Pager. Yeah, although with all of its quirks and all of its problems and its slow boot time, it is in the top three, if not one of the best war drivers. The problem is, once you hit to 25,000 networks, which is a regular war drive for me, it immediately starts to crash, and there's nothing to fix that. I have de-bloated it and rebloated it, barely any difference. And for it to even perform how it's supposed to, you need to add an alpha tri-band adapter. So if you get an alpha tri-band adapter, not the dongle, the actual like hub with the suction cup, stick that to your window, get a splitter, one GPS, put that on the roof. Don't use a dongle, grab another, the alpha, then it performs well. You want it to be the absolute best, put 4 alpha tri-band dongles on it, and it'll do the job just fine. The next step is a newer phone. A newer Android phone post 2025, and they perform like amazing. Now, once you get away from those two, you have, and phones are hit or miss, because sometimes phone, if you don't have Wi-Fi throttling on, then you're not really going to get much. You have Wi-Fi throttling off, you're going to capture a lot of networks. Sometimes your phone will miss things, just depending on how you have your developer settings set up. Just the biscuits in general, and Coco's C5 war driver in particular is top. Like that's number one, besides a newer cell phone and a Pineapple Pager. It's tied between a biscuit, any biscuit Pro, biscuit Ultra with a cluster, with a C5 war driver and antenna. They perform really well, especially with the cluster, and the clusters are cross compatible. ESP now doesn't really have encryption past 6 nodes. So I was able to hijack Just Call Me Coco's 12 node cluster while I was driving. And this was an amazing discovery. I could take it over, and Hedge could take it over, and Coco could take it over. So all 3 of us were sharing a cluster. And I thought that was like one of the most amazing, like, I know that it doesn't sound all that special, but I was like, oh my God, you could have a party of people with one cluster, 3 separate devices sharing a 12 node cluster. Technically, you guys are going to pull the same war driving logs, aside from what channels are designated on the master slave situation. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then you have other devices like Marauder as a war driver is an excellent war driver. Yeah, the Marauder V8 is that, especially with the new update that's about to drop. Amazing war driver. A lot of people like to war drive with flipper zeros. War driving with a S3 drains your battery, especially when there's a display. I've tested AWOC's old Chongus, or the S3 Chonguses, and the problem with the S3 is it's very power hungry, so it will drain your flipper zero. As opposed to now with the C5, they're notoriously low power. And when you compare and contrast with an ESP32 S3, I can go on a 4-hour war drive on one single charge, and I'll come back to the house at like 68-70%, and that's pretty cool.
AWOC's new dual touch has the new GPS on it as well, so he's picking up some of the slack. And apparently, even with just the ceramic antenna, this thing picks up sats inside and stuff. So that's wild.
Yeah. QuickTel LC29H is a fantastic GPS module. It's a lot more accurate and a lot more consistent than the ATGM. The reason why I rant and rave about the ATGM in my videos most of the time, and I suggest it for a lot of the maker projects within the community, is because of its affordability, the fact that you can find it anywhere, and it's consistent for what it is. You can have, and it outperformed a lot of the USB dongles that you'll find for about $5 to $7 more expensive. It's different when you're buying the chip. So the QuickTel LC29H as a chip is just a tiny bit more expensive than the ATGM, but there are no really like breakout modules that you can really attach to your project. They're more of like SMD component type of GPS modules.
So you just got to design a circuit or like a PCB that has USB on it, so we can plug that into the Pineapple pager.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that, because according to Darren, he said that Glitch was working on something after I did my GPS video. He's like, yeah, you could definitely have. He's working on something. He definitely influenced them, and I thought the ATGM would be a great choice. I actually have an idea I had for a USB dongle for the ATGM. The problem is it's getting it to communicate through getting it to communicate how I'd want it to. Is it would add to cost, and by the time you get a final product, it would be $25 more expensive than just wiring it to your device.
And when the pager came out, I know everybody was looking into the possibility of internally adding GPS to it. So I know everybody was talking about that.
Getting it to come up in under USB, I knew a lot of people who were having that problem in particular. I did not attempt it only because nothing is labeled, and I had already broken 2 pagers. I was like, I'm not messing with this one. Keep this.
Yeah. Yeah, I got lucky and Darren sent me a handful of them after the one that I bought, and I still want to mod them. I still want to do something with those, but and they're still pushing more and more payloads, more and more stuff for the pager. They did a great job on it, but there was a lot of hype and it kind of died down real fast. So I'd love to see something come back with the pager. I'd love to see somebody make their entire own firmware for the pager, make it completely different, but that's an awful big amount of work. But I'm sure somebody will Claude code something at some point soon.
Have you tried Loco SP's war driving payload on the pager?
Yeah, I've heard about this. I definitely got to get back onto that device, because everybody, first of all, Loco SP is everywhere now. This game's just, everybody's getting into it. So that's really, really cool. Anything like this that builds community, gets people outside of you're not really touching grass because you're driving around, but still, you're outside. And if it gets you to want to reclaim territory and stuff, that's very cool. So it's a great project. And yeah, no, definitely have to check out those, because he's doing a great job. Definitely doing a great job. Although I yelled at him this morning to stop using M dashes and things, because I'm like, take those out. Just delete the M dashes.
Yeah, it's an amazing payload, and I love Watch Dogs Wars.
Have you has he updated the payload where it's not just the uBlock 7?
As far as I know, no, and I hate the uBlock 7.
That's my problem here. It's look. I say if you guys follow Sasquatch's Sasquatch has a guide in my video on how to configure uBlock 7 to basically pick up American satellites as opposed to Asian satellites, and it fixes it kind of. It's just dongles are not consistent. Where you could stand over it and it will disconnect, and that's very disheartening.
Yeah, I can't remember who showed me that, but they're like, here's this crazy Chinese program, and you can reprogram all these dongles, and everybody's buying them off AliExpress, or even if you're not, whoever you're buying them from bought them off AliExpress or whatever. And yeah, being able to reprogram them to use like Galileo satellites or all the other satellites that are actually on this part of the globe are kind of cool. So it added a lot of functionality to those. And again, this is stuff that like nobody really seemed to know about. And somebody just popped into my DMs. They're like, "Oh yeah, if you're using this, you can configure stuff." Crazy.
Yeah, Rex, you told me that you were war driving back in 2004, man. What kind of stuff?
Oh yeah, I got my first laptop with wireless. Just for fun, I'd drive around. Lived in Oceanside, California at the time. And I'd drive around looking for open Wi-Fi and stuff, usually around businesses.
So
I forget there was a website back then. There's a form, and you'd log open Wi-Fi's you found.
NetStumbler?
I don't remember. It was over 20 years ago. I don't remember.
Well, that was back in the day when people had like open Wi-Fi's all over the place and stuff. I remember I was back in college.
and let it go.
Yeah. And then we were making like Pringles can antennas out of like just trash. Like I think we were using like PlayStation Wi-Fi adapters and stuff. And yeah, that's how we got our Wi-Fi half the time, is we just borrow it from somebody who was far enough away. And
yeah, I remember doing some antennas.
Yep.
So going back to the subject of cyberdecks, what do you think is going to be the future of cyberdecks? Because I've seen a lot of activity in the space. We've got the U console, we've got everything from carbon computers, and we've got a few things from other places as well. So what does everyone think the future of cyberdecks is going to be?
Oh, you have a lot of weird ones coming out very, very soon, sadly. Slap decks.
I like the new wave share one.
Ooh, I got it. They sent it to me. I haven't gotten it yet, but they sent it to me.
I'd like it better with a CM0 though, because I want just a handheld terminal. It's something that
sounds like you want the cardputer, the new cardputer.
Yeah,
0.
Yeah, that one, but it's missing some keys for what I want. And I mean, I can work around it.
Make round square buttons on them for once, but I'll get going
like
with that.
That's what the original plan was with the U console, was just a terminal, a portable terminal, and it became way too capable for that. So, and I need something that I can't start modding and doing all this stuff and making it something it wasn't intended to be.
Have you seen the Piberry Zeros? Like the Piberry Zero, the ones with the BlackBerry keyboards, Raspberry Pi Zero.
I've seen like the Hackberry Pi.
Yeah, there's a couple of them. There's a couple of them. Like Mike from Carbon Computers has the Piberry Zero. You have the Beatberry, which all of them come from there. And then you got Zetao's Hackberry Zero that a lot of people like with the old Nokia.
Yeah, I like the Hackberry Zero.
What do you daily carry?
I just daily carry the U console. I've got a sense cap that I keep in my truck for Meshtastic. And then I just installed a Android head unit in my old to replace the old AM/FM CD player in there. And I'm going to connect Lear's Wi-Fi card to it, because I noticed there's that Wiggle has got an app on Android. I was just going to install it right onto the head unit and let that just run.
That is one way of doing it, bro. That,
I got some
that's
antennas.
really-
I got some magnetic antennas I could slap on the roof.
So you got a plan.
Yeah.
That's all right, man. I stuck a Yagi and a directional antenna on a cluster, but I thought everything was fine. Felt like it blended in with the SUV I drive, and then one of the guy behind the counter at the pizza store was like, "What's that on top of your car?" And I was like, "Yeah, I should probably switch that to antennas now."
The same one in the video you just had.
Yeah.
That's suspect.
Oh, dude, you saw it. That's awesome, man. I've been following your videos since your first video on the CM5 the CM5 U console image that when you first dropped it. I think it was on Reddit. I watched it on Reddit. I got really excited and I went back and watched it over and over because I forgot what I was missing, man. And I get bombarded with messages at least every single day where people don't know how to uncomment, and unfortunately, it's a common issue. It sounds very menial, but a lot of people don't. They've never done that. You know what I mean? They don't understand how to edit a config file. They don't understand how to even flash an image. And believe it or not, man, your image has taught a lot of people steps in even though it's very clearly written, there's no way you could mess up. It really does teach people how to kind of build the thing that they want, as opposed to just getting something ready off the box, out the box.
Yeah, and I tell people, like, anybody that wants to learn, like, I've had several people approach me about making their own images, their own, like, doing a custom one for them. I've even had people approach me about paying me to do a custom image for them, just like off tricks. And I tell them, you just clone the respiratory, the PyGen repo, go in there and start fooling around. All of, there's just files with lists of apps. Don't worry about any of the configs or anything. Just go in there and start typing in apps that you want or removing ones you don't want. Like, you'll start figuring out, and it'll be a great learning experience. One of my big problem is, like, when I'm trying to help people, though, is I don't break it down enough. Sometimes, like, the whole comment or uncomment something. It's like, oh, just uncomment this line, save it, and you're good. And they're like, okay. What does that mean?
Yeah. I've done a couple of videos where I try to dumb it down as simple as possible, and it's helped a lot of people. But it's the way you've set it all up is, man, you've laid the groundwork where anybody could come down and be like, okay, this thing means this. Remove that, you're good to go. Bam, the program you want, it's already there. Are you maintaining the Kali image?
For the U console, yeah.
Yeah.
Kinda. Like, I'll update it I'll pull a fresh image and then redo it every 6 months or so. Like, I just redid all the images because Clockwork came out with a third screen for the device. They're all identical screens.
Oh, okay, bless you.
But they ran out of a certain chip, so they had to change it. So we had to add a little bit into the driver to identify, what model screen it is.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that's why, like, currently on the newest one, it won't work on the RATSA image because I got to go back and update that image still.
Running Kali on the RADSA?
No, not Kali on the RATSA, just the regular bookworm image on it.
So the bookworm image is the only image that works on the RADSA CM5.
Yes.
Okay, because I can only imagine how annoying that might have been.
Yeah, and it's pretty niche. Not very many people use it just because simply you don't have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth standard, no audio, no HDMI out.
No HDMI out?
No, but Valier's board, his RATSA CM5 board, did fix the HDMI issue
with the 3 rows.
Yes.
Okay. So I got sent a adapter board pro, and I love the adapter. I've done a video on the adapter board pro. I think it's like the greatest thing for the U console. Giving you PCIe 2.0 support is just within itself amazing. But I didn't know that he had a board for the Radza CM5. So now I gotta snag one of those. Can you flip it over? I mean, flip it around.
Oh, I got the actual CM5.
Oh, but it has the 3 rows on it.
Yes, it has the 3 rows on the board. And
nice.
Yeah, HDMI works now. USB 3 works.
Okay, that makes sense.
All that, it all works with the AIO V2 card.
That's awesome. Now I still can't do the build. That's okay. I'm glad I know that now. Yeah.
Yeah, but that there's only going to be one image for that one. Yeah, just because of how little it's actually used. Even though the Ratsa CM5 is a damn good chip.
3.5 times more powerful. RK3588S2. 3.5 times more powerful than Raspberry Pi, but the Pi blows it out of the water when it comes to community support. And I'm not going to lie to you, man. You might be the only dev that I have ever spoken to and know of that has taken a rock chip and contributed real progress within the community. Like what you've built for it within itself. Hey, you might not have variety, but this thing, it works with the right hardware. It does work, which is pretty cool.
And once I got that working, it showed that, because we were unsure if it'll even work at the beginning, because it's pin compatible, but pin compatible doesn't always mean it's going to be able to work. We got that working, so like somebody could theoretically go and the Orange Pi CM5 should work.
Really?
Yeah, it should.
Do you think the 3rd row of pins would match? Oh, it's still.
Oh no, the pin compatible. I mean, somebody would have to compile the kernel for it and add the drivers and everything. But I mean, it should work in the U console.
It's the same chip. Yeah, it's the same chip. Well, do you think that they mapped the 3rd row the same way? I would imagine so.
I'm not really a hardware guy.
I'm gonna have to look into that because I've been asked a lot, like, what is that 3rd row when they started it with the Orange Pi CM4, the tiny little 3rd row that they added, and telling people like it's there for audio and it's there for, it's just audio, visual, extra peripherals. You most likely won't need it. It's compatible with CM4 IO boards. Flashing it it's a pain. Like I guess flashing the image to the eMMC, it's not as easy as flashing an RPi boot, for example. Yeah, definitely not.
I did something to mine, and my eMMC on it no longer registered. It's gone.
I had that issue with the CM4, the Orange Pi CM4.
So yeah, luckily though, with the Ratsa, you can use the eMMC and SD card at the same time. If you have an eMMC Raspberry Pi compute module, it won't work with the SD card.
Yeah, you can't boot from an SD card. And I sadly, now with the influx of Pi prices, I have not checked recently if the Radza CM5's price has gone up. I know that.
You can't get them.
The Orange Pi CM5 is currently running $273.
That's still the price stayed the same.
Yeah, that's the RK3588.
Yeah. What about the Radza CM5?
Let's see.
Yeah, everywhere I've looked, they're pretty much sold out.
Radza CM5?
Yeah.
I know that they dropped a 512 gigabyte eMMC with 32 or 64 gigs of RAM. They built a monster, and it was like $700. That within itself is crazy. But when I discovered that you could, I didn't know, I saw that they all had eMMC, and I was a little bit disheartened. I was like, man, I wanted to use the SD card, and I read in your thread when the Radza first came out, they were like, no, you could do both. And I was like, that is cool. I didn't know that. I still don't understand how, but I love that that's a thing, because typically, like, I was
separate data lines.
then
On the
why?
Raspberry Pi, they just take the data lines from the SD card and put it into the eMMC. There's nothing stopping. They could have had them both still, or at least, if you have a light, the SD card works. If you have eMMC, the SD card still works. You just have onboard storage too.
Yeah. Well, you can. Yeah. The SD card works. You just can't boot from it.
I mean, you can still boot from it. I mean, if they decided to.
On a CM5 or CM4?
No, well, not on any of the. No, not on the Raspberry Pi product. It's either SD or eMMC.
Yeah,
but I'm saying, like, they could have made it to where it worked. Nothing would have stopped them.
I feel like they were really they really structured it on, like, embedded electronics in the workforce for industrial use. That's kind of where they kind of that's where they kept the CM3 and the CM3S, or the CM3 Plus, and then the CM4S. They wanted it for industrial electronics. However, the only reason why I had a CM3, CM3 Plus, and a CM4S was to put it in a Game Boy. So it's got so much potential, and what they have is insane.
They are really well-built, lasting products. I just took an OG Pi out from running my Pi hole. It's been running it since 2011.
Oh my
2012, God. Something like that, running my Pi hole, and I just took it out late last year.
A Model 1?
Yeah, OG. Oh. The one with 256 megabytes of RAM too, not the 512 one.
I have my first Pi on the wall right here. That's a Pi 2 Model B. And it's shaved clean. There's not a single component on that. That thing is fried. I turned it into wall art.
Yeah, I definitely need to do more with the Pis that I have, because I've just got a few sitting around. Like, I built this thing, like, I don't know, like a year or two ago. I got my laser logo and stuff on there, and it's just like, nice. This is a Pi 4, and it just hangs out in this little fun little case with Raspberry Pi.
Is it a Iron Man or a 3D printed case?
This is aluminum and it's lasered.
Ooh,
looks really nice.
Thanks.
I just got the Iron Man 5 Pro Max, the one for AI vision, and I haven't gotten around to actually do the build guide on it, because that needs about 45 minutes of consistent recording bit by bit. And that, man, I've done so many long videos recently. I got to take a break. Have you seen Valier's new Raspberry Pi all-in-one? That thing looks promising. You know what we're talking about, Sass?
Yeah, I'm pulling up.
Might be the single greatest Raspberry Pi hat I've ever seen. And my first thought is, I want to throw this in something.
I'd like to see someone do a clamshell cyberdeck. I know it's probably old school at this point, but
it's coming, unfortunately. It's just not coming from where you think you'd want it to come from. So just for context, for anybody listening, there is a Rabbit Labs, and then there is a Rabbit Inc. And the Rabbit Inc. It has nothing to do with Rabbit Labs. The Rabbit Inc. came out with a device called the Rabbit R1. It was a complete and utter, they're frauds. It was supposed to be an AI on chip. It actually has a MediaTek SoC, just like the Pineapple pager, on a low end smartphone CPU. And it didn't, for years, it didn't get any traction. It was garbage. Well, then they gaslight their customers, they gaslight their entire community, and gaslight the public. CoffeeZilla did a video on them. I did a video on them. But that one dude that does tech, I forgot his name, JMBT, one of the biggest. There's a lot of big tech YouTubers that did videos on them. Well, and they just don't take criticism. They're just like, you guys are haters on device AI, and it's not true at all. It's all cloud based. But they recently did a sneak peek, like, look what we're coming up with next, and it's a cyberdeck, which
Those guys
drives me
paired up with
insane.
Teenage Engineering for that one too, and
Yeah,
it had so much hype, and it was just like I kind of wanted one, just because I was like, we can put Android on it, so I wanted to put NetHunter on it, just as a thing to do for a video, but I didn't want to give them $200 of my money.
In the chat, I just dropped a video
Yeah.
of a new one that's coming out. It's a Game Boy Advance style cyberdeck.
Oh, that's pretty sick.
it's got the solder potty keyboard on it. It's got this keyboard right here on it. Oh my god, that looks amazing.
That's a nice looking keyboard.
That is a really yeah. So solder party is open source. Like, they open source their keyboards, right? Am I wrong?
Is that the one from the original Hackberries?
No. Solder. I think that they do. Yeah, I think the Hackberry also has their keyboard as well. Yeah, that is the solder party keyboard. I think that
Yeah, it
they
does look
open.
the same.
I might be mistaken. I'm gonna fact check myself after this, but I believe they open source their hardware. They also sell these keyboards on their website, which is solder.party, and that looks so cool. So that's a Pi clam.
Yeah.
You have that, right?
There's a touchpad down there, and it looks like it's got a screen embedded in it.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. They were touching it like it was going to do something. That's really, I love that idea. I hope they put that on so many more things, because it makes sense. Even on laptops and stuff, why not, right?
Razer did that, but then they discontinued it.
Razer does a lot of stuff and discontinues it.
Yeah. I saw a video on Salem. Andy from Salem Techsperts brought it back to life and put his his meme on it, and I was like, okay, I remember wanting that. Now I'm really glad I missed out on that. I missed out on a lot of things, but that's one thing I'm really glad I missed out on.
I just got to get this thing going, because this will be fun. The Pi Flux. I finally got most of the stuff done for it.
Nice.
I'm gonna send you a picture of one that I'm working on for WDG Wars. For context, Rex, Mike from Carbon Computers just loves. He's very passionate. Like, I'm passionate about cyberdeck builds. I like having a mini Linux computer to go for my own purposes. Mike really loves seeing ideas, designing them in his own image, and kind of he open sources some, and I believe he has like a couple. Like, he has the Cyber T, which is his closed source project, heavily influenced, and he works with Zetao and a couple of other devs. And I've taken that one that Sass just showed, and recently I threw a rack 1 watt in it. It works. It's annoying. I'm working on something, Sass. I'm gonna show you it later, where it's a rack solar panel on the back just for the rack. I'm testing out very soon the 1 watt, because I really want to test out the 1 watt. Gave it a Wi-Fi antenna, gave it an alpha tri-band antenna, gave it a GPS. I just started loading it. I was like, I want it to be just like the all-in-one, just without the SDR, because I don't like using I don't like just having a PortaPack, H4R, H4M, the Porta RF. I don't like using SDR++ anymore, man.
That's fair.
I'm so, if I need to use an SDR, I will use any other SDR radio that is not running on Linux.
I got to ship you some extra cases, but yeah, SDR++. Part of the issue is, at least I'm running just plugged into my computer, RTL SDR. And you don't realize it until you start using things like the U console, you're trying to do trunking, that the bandwidth is so small. So I had no idea. Then I'm sitting there like, why can't I use SDR trunk? And then I was like, oh shoot, I have no bandwidth for this. So then I was plugging my RTL SDR in with the AIO board. And then I'm like, okay, cool, this kind of works.
I just need 2 SDRs.
Yeah.
If you have 2, you're good.
Yeah, that was my solution. I ran a second one. I had one that I took apart and desoldered so I could run it in there before the AIOs came out. so I could have an SDR inside. And then after the AIO came out for a while, I ran the SDR in there just for SDR trunk.
Yeah, my buddy Snoring did that in one of his videos. Is the internal mod where you effectively just solder the pads or solder the USB to the pads of the
stock expansion board.
Yeah, the expansion board. Yeah, and you just kind of hardwired in that way. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty sweet. I considered doing that too, but especially with the CM5, that's a lot of heat. RTL SDRs, especially the dongles, those things get toasty. So I'm like, I don't want to melt this entire thing down, but thought about it.
I actually cut my stock battery tray. I cut a big chunk out of the bottom so I could take the SDR with a thermal pad and actually put it on the mid frame right underneath the battery tray.
Nice. Because that was the main drawback to trying to do that. Because I figured that was I love SDR trunk. It's a confusing and it takes a little while to. I watched like 10 videos on how to use it, but it is pretty interesting.
I just man, like I want to make this clear. I love the all-in-one biohacker gadgets. I like that it's there. I just when it comes to like the U console in particular, I like the fact that I could war drive on the U console, give it a 10,000 milliamp hour battery. It runs for the entire drive. If I wanted to pull out an RTL SDR, then I have it all in one device. That is really cool. It's just for when I need, like specifically for my needs. I like reverting to the Mayhem firmware, man. That's just me. But once again, I'm not an SDR expert, so I'm not doing what a lot of other people do. So I feel like it comes down to like what you need, man.
It's a lot of it does. And one of the things that I do, it's not like I do it all the time, but I honestly, when I first got an RTL SDR, I just liked going through and just looking at everything, seeing what things looked like, because I think that's the main thing that really got me into SDR was just seeing everything, seeing what different frequency or what's going on where, seeing what AM signals look like, NFM or radio stations, and being able to tell the difference between people actually talking or like weird beeper stations, digital like things that are encoded. It's just really interesting, and just going through and like running into stuff, being like, oh, these are people talking to each other. This is a nearby repeater or something like that. And it's just cool. It's just kind of fun, just exploring that kind of thing. I wasn't really using it for anything. It was just like, here's a cool thing, and I'm just gonna like look around.
Yeah, no, I feel that.
So for
when
the
did you
future,
move? Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, for the future of cyberdecks, what kind of SDR components do you think should be built in?
I mean, I think that everything should have some sort of SDR. Ideally, if you're building, well, and therein lies the thing about the cyberdeck is, do you want everything? Or do you want something that's small? Because, right, you got to pick between some things here. So I would love to see that. I do like at least the idea. Well, no, I like LoRa. I think LoRa would be great to be on pretty much every cyber deck, because I feel like that's a lot of what people are using things like that for. And yeah, the more stuff you can fit in there, the better, in my opinion. Because why not, right?
Yeah, and you got to take battery into consideration too, because everybody wants SDR, everybody wants LoRa, everyone wants GPS, sub gigahertz, like it's like the V1 AIO, that thing ate through battery, like nobody's business.
Yeah,
at least now the new one, you got to turn everything on via GPIO, and the device starts, so you can leave it off and save battery. Still, bulkiness of the device, and then the more antennas, the stranger looks you get.
Yeah, that's for sure. Especially when you start adding like chunky stuff like the GPS antennas and like all the other fun stuff. It gets a bit much. But
I brought this through TSA. They didn't say nothing, but he looked at it for a good 30 seconds before he put it back in the little bin.
Yeah, I wanted to bring it to DEF CON, but I'm like, maybe I'll just take the antennas off when I go through TSA just in case.
They don't like antennas, man.
Oh,
Everybody thinks antennas are so dangerous, but it's like, yo, you should. There's antennas in everything you have.
you just don't see the ones in your phone.
You want to see the ones in your credit cards. I mean, there's antennas everywhere.
But those aren't scary.
Sorry, what'd you say, Ghost? Hey, Ghost.
I said, but those aren't scary at all. That's the problem.
They're invisible. The
Exactly.
invisible things aren't scary.
If you can't see it, it can't hurt you. Remember that.
Exactly.
I traveled from DC to Colorado with a DIY biscuit, no case, literally battery slabbed to a Waveshare ESP32C5, and they picked it up and was like, "Yeah, this is good." And that was like the sketchiest thing ever. You know what I mean? And I wanted to, try my hand, see what would happen. Going and coming, it was fine.
Dude, first time I went to DEF CON, I brought almost everything. I bought a Flipper Zero. I bought a bunch of GPIO boards for him. I brought my card pewter. I brought a bunch of M5 stuff, and I was like, I had a list of all the stuff written down. I'm like, oh man, if TSA asked me about it, I'm like, oh, this is what. You're like, whatever, get out of here. I don't care. Leave. Take your shoes off. Shut up.
So speaking of which, we just got Mike from Carbon Computers. What's up, Mike?
Hello and welcome.
Oh, got the Cyberdeck Brigade.
You are muted in case you. There you are.
You hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, what's up?
Hey,
Welcome.
Mikey.
Finally.
Talking about cyberdecks.
Right up your alley.
What I missed?
We're actually going over to the all-in-one V2. Right, and I actually found out something about the Radza CM5 Cyberdeck. Rex was saying that the Valiers Hacker Gadgets adapter board Pro for the CM5, the Radza CM5 with a third row pin, actually fixes the HDMI issue. So, gotta keep that in mind. Should have known that.
Okay. Just taking some notes here.
That's awesome, man. Rex, what are your future plans? Like, it just seems like, man, for me, I went from one moment to seeing, just Bookworm to now we have Trixie, we got Bookworm, we've got Ubuntu, we've got Kali, we've got Dragon. I thought Dragon was only for the CM4 for the longest time.
I think that's pretty much all the images. I mean, I'm just going to maintain them. I have been working. I know a lot of people wanted a KDE version of Trixie. So I've been working on that. And because I don't want it to be half-assed, I want like some kind of user creation that's not terminal. So I've been working on a cute wizard that uses the same backend as like PyWiz to be able to do a user creation in KDE on the Pi. I'm surprised that I haven't been able to find one yet, so I've been working on that so that we can have a KDE image of Trixie all pre-set up and everything. Even though that's not, I like GTK better, but I've been learning Qt. First time ever working with it, so.
But dude, I'm gonna try to stay updated for that. You're a legend, dude. I'm gonna ask you kind of a very unpopular question. The R1, the Clockwork R1, the RISC-V SBC CM3 chip. Have you played with it at all?
No, I didn't. I've had an A04 and the A06 chip because I had the dev term, and the dev term came with the A04.
How'd you like it?
Hot garbage. I mean, they were already not well supported chips, and then Clockwork put them on, their own SoC that they didn't support either.
Yeah.
I tried to. I tried to rebuild the kernel and everything, and it was just too much of a hassle. I was like, nobody's even using these anyway.
Those chips don't play nice, man.
No. And yeah, now with especially, the A06 was a little tiny bit faster than the CM4. Now that the CM5's out and how well it's supported, the in-house clockwork SoCs aren't worth it. Yeah, I've never played with the R1, but I bet it wasn't too good.
It's not fun, man. I have it for sentimental value. I've had it since it first came out. I'm a big fan of RISC-V. I love the direction of it, and at the time, I was just excited for anything RISC-V based SBCs. The Star 5 JH711 processor on the Milk v Mars just made me I was really excited for it, man. It looked on paper, it checks off all the boxes, but it will have you for hours wanting to lose your mind and rip your hair out because almost nothing works. I love Radza. As much as there are issues with driver support, depending on what you're using, there are use case scenarios for a lot of their SBCs. The Rock chip, the Rock Pi is a much better budget-friendly SBC than as opposed to Raspberry Pi Now, price to performance. It's just, man, that R1 is limited isn't even the word. It's cute. It's a nice example of what could be, and that's my take on it. I was really hoping that you're gonna be like, I touch it. You know what? Matter of fact, I played around with it. I got this secret image. Things work.
Oh no! If I'd have came out with something for it, I'd put it out. I don't keep nothing too secret.
It's going to be the demand moving forward since pies are so expensive. Like, do you think everything's going up in price no matter what?
And personally, I've been liking the Zimmer board stuff too, because for me, I like the cyberdecks. I mean, the only experience I have with one myself is the Spec 5 Strike, and I just find that it's slow. Now, I think that a lot of people with use the Raspberry Pi 5s notice that if they want to use like a full-blown operating system on it, it's really slow. But lately, I've been liking the Zimmer board because it supports that X64 architecture. 86, and then you can run things like Tails and Parrot Security on it, and it's on a cost-effective device that has 16 gigs of RAM right out of the box, which is a really great experience.
That's on the Spec 5?
Not the Spec 5. That thing it's slow. I don't like. That's my experience with CyberDeck so far. I mean, I want to get a U console one day, but eventually. But right now, I went from Pies to the Zimmer board projects, the computers, and I absolutely love it because of the speed and performance.
Which
and
model?
The flexibility.
The N95, N100? Or you have one of the other ones?
I got the Zimmer Blade right now, and then the game of the Zimmer board 2. That's what you're asking me.
Zimmer board 2 is sick. I've been playing around with it. Yeah, there's a few little quirks about it as far as I actually I've got it hooked up with my offsite now, or my offsite backup, and I just got a tail scale into it. This is a few other weird things, but yeah, it's great. I've always loved especially running things like Chasm, and then running a compartmental or containerized container. So I'll run an instance of Kali inside Chasm, and then if I need to do anything that's like open a PDF file or something, it seems weird, I'll do it in there sometimes, and then you can just kill the entire instance, start it up. It's just it's a great piece of hardware. I've been having a lot of fun with it, and I mean, it is solid. It is a solid piece of equipment.
I'm not sure if you guys are aware of the older version that we had, the Pi Edge. That one before it featured the Latte Panda, the V1, which was based on Atom CPU. So it's fully, x86 compatible with Windows installed and everything. Right now, since the prices went up, it was always in the backlog, but we've just been so busy with production and development. I have many other projects in the works, working at the same time continuously. I have about 4 developers working on different models and different cyberdecks and projects. But the PyFlux has been, we're finishing the first beta testing for the Latte Panda, the new version that they released. So that's going to feature full x86. So you can run, native Linux, native Windows, and it's going to have very similar form factor. You're going to have the simplicity of using HDMI instead of the DSI connection, which a lot of people have problems getting the drivers running. I get so many tickets every day, just people asking how to get things going. So having the HDMI option will be seamless, and I think it's going to be a really good option considering how Pi's 16 gigs have gone up so much. I think it makes a lot more sense, and it's going to have a lot more power too. We're also finishing the CyberT. The CyberT is going to have some other components. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of before. Maybe Cal has mentioned it. But the CyberT, once we finish the CyberT, which the second beta, it worked very well. The idea is to split it up into separate pieces. So we're going to have a keyboard component. We're going to have a AIO. That AIO is going to be pretty much the same unit, but in a very small form factor, pretty much the 4x4-inch dimensions, the same size as the screen, and it's going to feature everything. So it's going to be a very small board. Ideally, the idea behind that is to make it adaptable and compatible, and make it available for everyone to build something custom. Be able to build your own cyberdeck in a very small package, because it's going to feature the connection for the CM5. It's going to feature BMS built in. And all the ports and everything you might need, right? It's going to feature Ethernet port, USB ports, the same port. It's going to feature SATA, all the features that the CyberT has in a very small package. And then the other item that we're going to release is just going to be a separate PCB that's just going to feature the BMS component. So a lot of people have a lot of problems building a small cyberdeck because we don't have a small package that's powerful enough to power the unit. So the BMS component is going to be very important for people that want to build their own and have a very small, very slim unit.
Sounds
You talk
awesome.
about the cyber, which there's also a zero BMS that we've been working on for a while that I'm actually about to do a video on. That's the mini BMS. And that's pretty much the BMS component of the CyberT in a very small package. That one has a pogo pins, so you can attach it onto a Pi Zero. So it's pretty much the same dimensions as a Pi Zero. Just imagine having a Pi Zero at the BMS for a unit. It has double connection for dual LiPos, so you can have two batteries connected. You can make it half swappable. You can have as many batteries as you want, different sizes, 5-volt out,
capacities. Right.
And 5-volt out.
Exactly. And it's going to have internal USB-C for simple connectivity. A lot of people just want to use they don't want to be very technical, and they just want to use a short USB-C, like let's say to power the Pi 5. So they can just use the short USB-C cable to connect it onto the Pi and to connect it onto the board. Simple. But they also have the option to wire the cables and wire those wires onto any other unit.
That's very clever.
That's very, very cool. Yeah. I do have to hop off real quick. It's been real hanging out with you guys. And Rex, thank you so much for being on. It's been absolutely awesome talking to you, and you've been super helpful for everybody. But all right, I'll catch you guys later.
See you later.
Thanks for being on. Take care.
Thanks for being on, Seth.
See ya.
Being able to start having Rex and Sass on more often during the BWM podcast is also really cool, because the insight that Rex has, and man, like I gotta be honest with you, bro. I'm excited for your projects, man. I used to watch your Reddit posts religiously, especially the the posts for IT support. People stumped on things. Augie,
Hello.
which cyberdeck builds have you played around with recently, or have you been looking to build into?
Oh, I'll be completely honest. I haven't touched one yet. Apart from the closest thing I've gotten to is the GPD Pocket 2, but the eMMC on that failed on me, which wasn't very fun. I've spent many a year trying to get that working again. Yeah, really excited for like quite a few of the carbon computers things, like looking at what you've shown me. It was the Flux.
I had to get you some.
Oh, thank you very much. But yeah, they look really interesting, and it's something that I've been intrigued by for a very long time, in terms of having a very, very small factor kind of computer that you can carry around every day without being too heavy. And then extrapolated off that, what you guys have been doing with SDR, mesh, all kinds of stuff. It's crazy, like kind of how functional such a small device can be with what you guys have been doing, both yourself, Rex, and Carbon Computers.
Thank you. And
Rex.
I just wanted to put the word out. I'm not sure if any of you have checked out some of the items that we have built over the time, but kind of wanted to check with some of you if any of you will be interested in one of the units. We can try to get you one of those so you can experiment and see what you think about it. Get feedback.
Thank you very
Same
much.
for you guys. And Ghost.
I'd be interested.
I already got something for the both of you pretty much ready. All three of you pretty much ready.
You're in? All right.
Ghost said, I'm in.
I got a question for you guys. For somebody that I'm more interested in burner computers myself, but I want to get into cyberdecks. I do see the value in them. What would you recommend to anybody, not just me, somebody that's like new to cyberdecks that is looking for performance? Because you don't want to deter people from getting into that space, because a lot of the time, right now, yeah. What would performance-wise and usability-wise, if you can give me a couple examples, or people that listen to this podcast, what would you recommend for a beginner?
A latte panda iota.
Well, it depends. Are you looking for, if they're looking for something that's already built, or are they looking to build something?
I'm going to go with probably pre-built, especially if it's a beginner. I think let them dabble in the space a little bit more. So what pre-builds would you recommend somebody that's just starting out in the space?
Me personally,
the clockwork pies. They're
yeah,
pre-built, but then they're not pre-built. You got to assemble them yourself, so it gives you some accomplishment of building it. It lets you know a little bit of how it's working. And then with like the CM5, it's pretty powerful. It's not an x86, but I mean, with the screen size and what you're typically going to do with it anyway, it's plenty powerful. You're not going to be playing AAA games, and if you do, stream them.
Yeah.
You got GeForce Now, Luna, all them, and because that's what I do. My house is completely ARM except for my server.
That's pretty cool. I used to do stuff for GeForce Now and Amazon Luna at the time. Before I did the cybersecurity stuff. Yep, I'm actually technically still partnered with Ubisoft, but I love cloud gaming on their. Are they on the 48? They're on the 5080s now, right? For RTX, they're using for the cloud stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I used to do it with the 4080s.
My daughter likes gaming, and the price of GPUs now, plus a whole tower.
Sick.
Yeah. I can slap a Pi on her desk.
Yeah.
She connects the controller, GeForce Now, Luna. She's playing all the games she wants. No difference to her, really, And if she actually had a full, 5080 sitting there on her desk.
There are some dark connotations with that path, though, that, because of the current situation, GPUs, RAM, hard drives are not accessible. And it's going down this path of, you won't own your own hardware. You'll outsource it via streaming. And I'm not quite sure how I feel about that.
Yeah, like I got one x86 computer in my server. All my heavy lifting, when I need to do something heavy, I offload it onto that. So like the Pis are perfectly fine for regular computers for me. I'm on a Pi right now with you guys.
Now, have you ever tried? Now, what I've done in the past with low-level hardware, what I would put a thing called Shadow PC. So it gives you access to a full Windows machine in the clouds, but you can put it on something like a Raspberry Pi. If you're able to get, I don't know if you put Chrome on a Pi actually, but if you get at least to the web, you can access it and use it full Windows 10 11 machine from a really cheap low-end device. even using like a Linux computer, you can actually use a Windows if you want just by logging into it over
Yeah,
the
you can use
cloud.
just like a thin client.
Yeah.
Exactly.
EVI.
100%. Yep. Thought that was always cool too. So something, if I was to get a cyber deck, maybe something I mingle with too. So he kind of shows the best of both worlds. Like, hey, if you want to turn this into something a little bit more, you could.
Yeah.
And if you got a full setup at your house, you could have a Pi as a cyber deck. You can always remote into your home PC and stuff to do your work, screen share and all that stuff.
It's true too.
What is a KVM?
I was not more like VNC and stuff. Like if you're out and about, remote into it, and you can actually screen share whatever. Not quite like a KVM.
Yeah. And for gaming, you also have Steam, where if you have a gaming computer already, you can just connect to your machine, just install the app and remote to it, play games. I think my favorite or the most complete cyber deck at the moment, by a long shot, and for quality and price, I say it's probably the Hackberry. I think that's a really good unit. It's already assembled. You just install the CM5 and you're good to go.
Awesome. Thanks for that suggestion.
Yeah. It's just
Unfortunately, I got to go, guys. I got the text. I got to go back upstairs there. So thank you for having me. I'm sorry I was short and not that knowledgeable in the cyber space, but thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
It was a pleasure to have you, Ghost.
no problem.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
care.
Have a good night. Later.
Good night.
Now, when it comes to like the Raspberry Pi, and we've got the Orange Pi and other bits and pieces, do you see in the near future, like Apple and what they're doing with the ARM processors? And then obviously we've got what we talked about before with the RISC-V side of things. Do you think we're going to see kind of like Raspberry Pi form factor devices with much more powerful silicon on them?
Oh yeah, it's inevitable. They're just gonna keep getting faster and faster. It's gonna take a while, especially to catch up to like Apple, but they'll get there. I mean, just the jump from like the Pi 4 to the Pi 5 is quite incredible. 2.5 times on average.
I have a feeling that next time they might keep the same pricing, and they're just gonna have to bump the processing power so much to make it just survivable, right? And that's gonna be the issue for the next upgrade.
Well, I certainly hope that the prices go back down again once the RAM crisis resolves itself.
Yeah.
Got the RAM crisis and the Hormuz.
Yeah, I thought the other day $300 for a 16 gig CM5.
Yeah. Shipping $350.
Yeah, that's unreal. The price of one Pi now used to cost almost the price of 3, not 3 months ago, which is it's just disgusting to me. But and what pisses me off is when they first increased the price, it increased to like 200 something, or it increased it by 80%. They were like, "This is temporary," then increased it again not a month later, and then they were like,
temporary, it's going to be this low.
If it's temporary, why did you just make a 3 gigabyte Pi 4? You just redesigned the PCB and put out a 3 gigabyte Pi. This is insane. And Micro Center, supposedly, according to the Micro Center reps that I've spoken with, they're like, there's a Pi 6 on paper that they like, it says that they're on board to get a Pi 6. It's on paper, which I don't know how much I trust it because I didn't see it, but that's what every single rep that I've spoken to at Micro Center is just like, man, it's there. It says so. It says new Pi 6, but they don't know when they're going to get them. So that means they're cooking up something.
Oh, yeah. Well, from their release cycles of the other ones, they should be coming out. There should be a 6 coming out next year.
I think they're going to wait a little bit more.
Like, yeah, well, Steam did the same.
Oh, yeah.
Wait for it to die down. Oh, sorry?
They probably have to sell that stock first.
Yeah. At $300, it's crazy.
Hard sell.
Pie sale. Oh, they don't want to let the pie get stale. That's damn for sure.
But I think one of the big points of the Raspberry Pi is it's meant to be affordable. And if the prices keep on going up, you get into comparison with cheaper laptops, maybe better second-hand laptops, old second-hand thin clients.
Yeah, Intel base, like the Latte Panda.
Yeah, you can get an old Power Edge PC will whoop a Pi 5 any day for $150 on eBay right now.
Yeah.
You had those mini PCs with the N150s and the i3s and the i7, the 12th gens. They were, I swear to God, 6 months ago, I was seeing them on Marketplace and all types of bargain buy places for $70. This guy was selling 10 of them for $30. And now it's like, oh man, if only anybody could have predicted this insane AI slopification of everything, maybe. And now you got I guess the newest trend is people are buying the Mac Studios to run Claudebot clusters and things of that sort, which has never really been up my alley. I've gotten to play a little bit with the hardware on the Mac Studios, and I can honestly say they're good hardware. I don't use anything Apple, maybe an iPad, but it's a display pad. That's all it is to me.
Your iPhone.
Huh?
You have an iPhone now?
No, I have a S25. Yeah, God forbid I ever switch back to an iPhone. I can't. The cameras on the Galaxies are too perfect.
No Apple here either.
Yeah, can't do it.
But on the topic of Apple, I think it's quite interesting, and I don't know what it means completely, but for the first time ever, we're starting to see budget Apple devices. Like their phones in some areas are coming in priced under the Samsung phones, and we've got now the MacBook Neo. So
yeah,
that could be a positive trend overall.
I think the
M1 and M2, but that project's not doing too well now.
No.
Yeah, I think the reason behind that was that their growth is slowing down, pretty much steady. So they're probably trying to, cover more area, get into the more competitive market. So, and that's the easy way. They've been making chips for a long time, and the mobile CPUs are much more affordable than the other ones. So.
Well, everybody's ranting and raving on the Neo can do 4K editing. The Neo can do this. The throttling on it is insane. The thermal throttling on it is insane.
It's just the heat, though.
Maybe if you could, stick it. If you had it consistently in a freezer, you might be, cooking with something. I don't know if it's grease, but it's something.
I saw a video somewhere that someone put a big cooler on it, and they pushed it so hard that I think the performance was just close to an M4.
Yeah.
Which, that's crazy.
Yeah, I think I saw that. That was Jake from the old LTT guy, the guy that got laid off or whatever.
So you need to spend the money that you would spend on
look, everything needs extra cooling nowadays. Slap that on the U console just to keep it cool.
Yeah, just carry a liquid cooler for your laptop.
Oh man. Rex, have you seen Mike's CNC'd custom backplate for the U console with the active cooler on it?
No.
I gotta send you pictures of it. Mike made a CNC'd backplate with an active cooler and a giant ribbed heatsink.
We're getting a batch. We can send you one so you can check it out.
They're insane. Mike's better than me because when every time I see the price tag on what the hell they get made for, I want to have a heart attack.
I looked at getting some custom stuff made, like it's the sun visor I got on here. I wanted it in metal or aluminum or something.
Oh.
They wanted like $250 for it. I was like, I don't need it that bad.
Yeah, it's actually not that expensive, but with Trump's tariff, you you manufacture very cheaply over there, but once it comes in, you get 100% on that, especially on anything that's hardware, mechanical, like aluminum. You get 100% tax on it, so it doubles the price. Hence the high price. And then if you try to do it in the U.S., you're paying like I got quotes, and it's just over $400 or more. Some shops are asking $700 plus. So yeah, it's just you gotta keep making it overseas.
I was trying to find a CNC mill here in the United States, but man, I don't know what it is, man. I mean, I know what it is, but it's it's impossible to get the pricing.
The labor.
It's the labor. Yeah, it's one thing that I would love to have CNC'd is have you guys seen the U console double gripped handles?
Yeah.
I have that on my U. That has to be on my U console. If I could have that CNC'd, amazing. That would be perfect. Or the galvanized filament. They got the metal filaments for the H2C and some of the more exotic filaments for 3D printers. I don't know how they would print. I would love to get a perfect print on them, but they are $150 for half a kilogram of the filament is insane. That's maybe 2 of those prints perfect at 40% maybe would be decent. I don't know, man. I've never printed metal.
Has some metal material.
Have you ever printed it?
I printed the X console.
In metal?
Yeah, it's heavy.
I want to see what that looks like. The X console Rex is a x86 cyberdeck mic made out of the Latte Panda Mew.
MU, yeah.
The Mew. I threw an active cooler on it, modded the case, and man, if only the Mew was not right where your finger is, because your finger is gonna keep going into the active cooler, so you got to keep it passive, and that's the only way it works, man.
Yeah. We could put a mesh on it, make it thicker, right?
It's not a bad idea.
Kind of like what the Pyflux has. It has those little grills on the back.
Yeah.
The fan can suck fresh air. Do something like that. The X console has been in development for probably 2 years now. We just keep getting sidetracked and still haven't finished. But I can send you the filament if you want to try it, or send you.
I would love to. Why haven't you printed anything?
I did the X console, and that's it.
I'm excited.
How does it print?
Man. Yeah,
it printed well. Yeah, it came out clean. But you feel the weight. You compare that with plastic, and it's noticeable. Yeah.
Trying to figure out how fuzzy skin would come out.
Yeah. I mean, it's not 100% metal, but yeah, you get the feel, you get the looks. It looks great.
Oh man, that clog is gonna suck.
Yeah,
I can imagine it now.
You get the sound from it, the tinking.
That one, I don't remember. I'll have to go back to that and check it out. I know they have some materials that have I'm not sure if it has a higher content, but I've seen some that you can print a bell and use the bell, and it sounds just like a regular bell.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Probably too expensive to test, but I'm curious how rugged it is.
Ooh.
Oh, the drop test? Well, it also depends on the weight. I mean, the X console is a heavy unit. I would definitely not include the screen. That's a very expensive screen. Cal already broke one.
Yeah. Oh no, we gotta replace. We gotta replace. I didn't break. Okay, so
It came broken.
How thin they are is they are like thin.
It's AMOLED.
Yeah, it's insane.
Super thin.
Nice. So is that a more recent screen technology that you're utilizing?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say it's probably the same technology as a phone, mobile. So yeah.
Nice. I imagine that's very good quality.
Yeah, it is. It has a really nice resolution. I think it's 2K.
Nice.
And 5.5 inches. We recently got some more screens to test out on the iFlux, and those are 5.5 as well, but much more economical. I think I actually got them today, and we're gonna be testing those, see if they fit better for the X console and the iFlux and the Slate. So we might make the upgrade if they come out better. We'll see.
I just want the I want it to, if I'm gonna build a cyberdeck, I want the display to be like the Waveshare DSi-A, where the enclosure kind of feels like an old
Right.
iPhone 4, yeah, you get what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like an old
yeah.
iPhone 14, thick, you can drop it. There's a high, probability that it will not shatter, as opposed to bending it slightly and the whole thing disappears. Like,
Yeah, the main issue with that screen, the one for the X console, was that the first layer will come off or will detach from the screen. And once you do that, you peel the layers on it, and then you don't get video. I think you only get the backlight. But yeah, pretty much destroyed. Very, very delicate.
My knowledge of cyberdecks is pretty limited, but I see them a lot in what are called trophy trucks, which are basically purpose-built vehicles to traverse off-road
Yeah.
races. What would be the use case for them in that?
You seen them?
Yes, I've seen multiple cyberdecks in trophy trucks,
Really?
as well as
Not aware.
military sim vehicles as well.
Tuning maybe instead of just having a regular laptop.
Have a cyberdeck.
Yeah,
that's genius.
That's really cool because it fits in the aesthetic really well.
yeah. That's what I could think.
Yeah,
Be-
I imagine they use it to make tweaks or get data from the suspension and the engine. Make
that's why. Yeah, tuning the
Notable.
truck.
Yeah, I assume. I really didn't know. First time. I
Yeah.
have to do some research on that. Interesting.
Yeah, because
That's really cool. I will look into that more because I see that a lot. I will ask around. Thank you.
Yep. We could have started something new. Dashboard cyberdecks.
That's not a bad idea. So that's what I started doing after I saw Coco do it with his when he was interfacing with his old cluster of Wi-Fi modules. He was just SSHing with his Hackberry, and he was utilizing the MagSafe, and I was sitting there. I was like, "That is genius! I didn't even know there was a MagSafe mount on the back of this thing. Why? This is perfect." I'm waiting for the Cyber T specifically, as long as the next iteration. The one thing that would kind of throw it off is the fact that me and Mike want to throw RFID NFC to my ST25 or repurposing a Proxmark, and that would get in the way of the MagSafe ring on the back. And I feel like having RFID functionality on a cyberdeck really gives it a better user experience. As much as I would like for it to be a repurposed Proxmark or so redesigned Proxmark, maybe a Proxmark Mini, it's the software support that's kind of in the way. Like if I were to have RFID on a cyberdeck built in seamless, where it didn't look like a giant clunky bunch of antennas and wires and components and modules, then I would want it to run the Iceman firmware because it's already, it's constantly supported. It's easy to use if you know how to, run the CLI, the Iceman, the PM3 CLI and get everything going. And there's already a community behind it that would definitely love the fact that they would have RFID on a cyberdeck. That's just my take on it. It originally started with, it would be funny. We put an infrared receiver and a transmitter on the top. Boom. Give it all the functions of a Flipper Zero, man. Flipper Cyberdeck.
I like that idea because I'm old enough to remember when infrared was a genuine, method for data transmission when we were still using serial ports. So, seeing it on devices now, I don't know how useful it is in 2026, but for me, I find it nostalgic, and I do use it when I can.
No, that would be an epic and truly one flipper killer.
But it's not about being a flipper killer. It's just having I love having a cyberdeck on me. I keep a cyberdeck on me nonstop. Recently, it's become Biscuit, Marauder Mini, Pager, and it up until 2 days ago, up until yesterday, Hackberry. And as much as I love my U console is usually for testing purposes. And I just, while we're on the conversation, Rex, I want to ask you, what are your opinions on LoRa on a cyberdeck?
I think in the spirit of a cyberdeck, it's kind of necessary. If you're going with the whole spirit of the idea of the thing, it's kind of a necessary. Off-grid communication is kind of making a true cyberdeck. I think it's kind of necessary.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the cyberdecks, they usually features as many things as possible. Depending on your needs. Some of them have SDR, some of them have radio, some of them will have a lot of network connections. Let's say like the cyberdeck boxes, like the Pelican boxes. They got switches, they got cables, they got extra batteries, power banks. So really, a cyberdeck is just as many features as you want.
I think you definitely need LoRa. Definitely, you want stuff like you want something installed to like be able to host a website or something off the device. So Wi-Fi you need. Like Mike was saying, pretty much everything you can get into it, if is possible.
Yeah. We thought about it, and since the Cyber-D already is very cramped with all the components that it has already, what we were thinking is to feature sort of a USB header, so we can have an attachment board that's modular. Think of like a Flipper Zero hat, right? But it's going to communicate with the unit via USB. So you can have an attachment board, and that attachment board will give us another layer, pretty much the same size as the same dimensions as the Cyber-T, and we can add everything we want in there. Have a module that maybe features NFC and other things.
Like the framework, it'll plug the dongles for their USB-C.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Something.
I mean, you can do LoRa that way too, because like I don't know if you guys heard of it, but check out Contact. It's a Python app, and that's for Meshtastic, and it'll work off with USB, serial, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi. So you can any way you can connect a Meshtastic device to your computer, you can use Contact with, and it's a nice TUI app. But so you get something like that. You use USB.
Oh, this is pretty dope, man.
Yeah, ease of use.
Okay, I'm saving that.
Yeah, I'm liking the modular design idea, because then you can build it how you want for that particular day.
Yeah, because the other thing with featuring multiple things onto the board is that some of these components are very sensitive to other components, the communication and everything. So let's say we might be able to feature NFC and LoRa, but not IR or some other component that we want to add. Maybe SDR, we can't integrate it into LoRa because it's going to have communication issues. So the idea is to have adaptable boards that can feature different things.
I like that, because then you can keep it smaller too.
Exactly.
I like that a lot. They mentioned clamshell earlier. Mike and Rex posted a Pi deck build on the side chat. It's right above Sasquatch's comment, and it's using the solder party keyboard, and it looks really nice.
Clamshell, like a DS?
Yeah, like a laptop.
with a hyperpixel display. So if I could compare it to anything, it looks like what would happen if a Hackberry was foldable
I see. Okay.
with a touchscreen display trackpad.
I'm thinking of like the Game Boy. Oh, it had the trackpad too?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's a Game Boy.
Advance.
Oh, it is? Okay. But the keyboard features the little trackpad, because I know they designed some models, or they're still working, because I talked to what was this guy, the developer. I talked to him and he said that they were finishing the keyboard with a little touchpad.
Take a look at it. It's right there in the side chat. It's a touchscreen display touchpad with the hyperpixel square display.
Where is it? In the general chat?
No, side chat. So you see if you're on a PC, it'll be the chat on the side.
Here, let me share my screen.
Oh, I see it now. Okay. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's the solder party. That's
Yeah. No, but what I'm saying is that you see the little spot in between the top keys.
Yeah.
There's a model of the key that's supposed to have a little touchpad in there, similar to the CyberT and the Hackberry, where the center has a little touchpad from BlackBerry.
right.
That model, they have a model that they're working on. They're finishing it up, and it's going to feature a little touchpad in there. That's why you have the little gap at the top row.
Earlier, Rex was showing us his U console with the BlackBerry trackpad, the same one the CyberT has.
The U console?
Yeah, he has a U console with the BlackBerry Bold trackpad, like the actual trackpad.
No way. You fit
That's
that in there?
that's
That is
genius.
awesome. That is awesome. You used the same connections, or you had to wire it somewhere else?
It's an entirely new PCB,
Oh,
like a whole new keyboard.
That antenna array is amazing. I love it.
oh, you have to replace the whole.
And look at that. Even lights up the.
Oh, cool. It lights up too.
Oh
That's
yeah, that's really neat.
Is this available on the Tindy that's been down for 4 days?
Yeah. I think it's been over a week now. You just have a little bit of maintenance to do.
Their bot was flagging everybody as bots. Their Anubis bot, that I hate that bot so much. It is the most annoying little bit of I guess security that they've ever implemented, and it just seems like it's caused nothing but problems. Their messenger doesn't work. Tindy's a mess. Good concept though.
For the viewers who are unaware right now, Tindy has been down for over a week now, I believe.
10
Really?
days.
Wow.
Just causing, obviously, a lot of issues for a lot of sellers.
A lot of makers, a lot of developers, a lot of just a lot of everybody who has hosts a lot of their stuff on Tindy. They're dead out of the water, and from what I can hear, support really isn't that supportive.
It's not good to hear.
Rex, I want to tell you, I want to thank you for coming on today, man.
Oh, it was my pleasure.
I wanted to throw this out there. You'll see us every Saturday in here. You are more than welcome to hop in, man.
Oh, I'll be back. I will be back.
Like, engage in conversation. Your knowledge is insane. And man, hearing it from the source is the best. And also, in the next 10 minutes, I have a tracking number for you. And I got to talk to Mike about something first. But dude, man, it is a pleasure to finally have a full-blown conversation with you. And two, I apologize, I've been so busy. I missed them. I missed calls nonstop. It's all Mike's fault. He works me to the bone. Help. I'm blinking twice. Whoever's watching this.
I just want to add to that sentiment. Absolutely been a pleasure to have you on the podcast today. Thank you both for joining us. I think today's been a great podcast, and I think we've covered some really interesting topics. And yeah, cyberdecks, they look pretty awesome. And I've been watching Cal in NV for a couple of months, is showing off all these really pretty, funky devices. Just
We'll
very impressive work that's been done. But it's like they just look like really, and it's like the aesthetic as well. I guess that's a big part of the appeal of them. But it's also the functionality, especially like listening to Mayhem and what he's been doing with his new console and the modifications. Like he's turning that into a beast of a thing.
Yeah, it's not to spoil it for anybody. Mayhem SAS. They've been working on Pi Fluxes for like the past week and a half, and the designs that they've been coming up is absolutely insane. And Rex, Dakka, Og, I can't wait to show you guys some really cool stuff. And to the viewer, I love your face. I can't wait to show you guys some cool stuff that we got going.
For sure, offline.
All right, so I think we'll wrap up the podcast for today here. Thank you at home for watching today, and if you have any questions, put it down in the chat below. And if you like this, give it a like. And if you want to see more from ValleyTech Solutions, because that's where we're currently hosted, give the subscribe and hit the alarm if you want to be notified. But we do hope to someday in the future. Oh, I'll let you take over, Cal.
Don't forget to subscribe to Rex for updates on the Clockwork images and support the man who's literally holding the community up from like the foundation here, man. If it wasn't for Rex, we would have no Clockwork images. We would have no Hacker Gadgets AIO compatibility. And we're gonna also put all the support links for Rex down below. Check out his stuff. Check out his thread. Check out his forum, and maybe buy him a coffee, man.
Or two.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys having me on, and I will definitely be back.
Thank you very much. Okay, so until next time, people, take care and goodbye.